top athlete's beauty is next to impossible to describe directly, or to evoke. Federer's forehand is a great liquid whip, his backhand a one-hander that he can drive flat, load with topspin, or slice. The slice with such snap that the ball turns shapes in the air and skids on the grass to maybe ankle height. His serve has world-class pace and a degree of placement and variety no one else comes close to. The service motion is lithe and uneccentric, distinctive only in a certain eel-like all-body snap at the moment of impact. His anticipation and court sense are otherworldly, and his footwork is the best in the game. As a child, he was also a soccer prodigy. All this is true, and yet none of it really explains anything, or evokes the experience of watching this man play, of witnessing firsthand the beauty and genius of his game. You more have to come at the aesthetic stuff obliquely, to talk around it, or, as Aquinas did with his own ineffable subject, to try to define it in terms of what it is not. One thing it is not is televisable, at least not entirely. TV tennis has its advantages, but these advantages have disadvantages, and chief among them is a certain illusion of intimacy. Television's slow-mo replays, its close-ups and graphics, all so privilege viewers that we're not even aware of how much is lost in broadcast. And a large part of what's lost is the sheer physicality of top tennis, a sense of the speeds at which the ball is moving and the players are reacting. This loss is simple to explain. TV's priority during a point is coverage of the whole court, a comprehensive view, so that viewers can see both players and the overall geometry of the exchange. Television therefore chooses a specular vantage that is overhead and behind one baseline. You, the viewer, are above and looking down from behind the court. This perspective, as any art student will tell you, foreshortens the court. Real tennis, after all, is three-dimensional, but a TV screen's image is only 2D. The dimension that's lost, or rather distorted, on the screen is the real court's length, the 78 feet between baselines, and the speed with which the ball traverses this length is a shot's pace, which on TV is obscured and in person is fearsome to behold. That may sound abstract or overblown, in which case by all means go in person to some professional tournament, especially to the outer courts in early rounds, where you can sit 20 feet from the sideline, and sample the difference for yourself. If you've watched tennis only on television, you simply have no idea how hard these pros are hitting the ball, how fast the ball is moving, how little time the players have to get to it, and how quickly they're able to move and rotate and strike and recover. And none are faster or more deceptively effortless about it than Roger Federer. Interestingly, what is less obscured in TV coverage is Federer's intelligence, since this intelligence often manifests as angle. Federer is able to see or create gaps and angles for winners that no one else can envision, and television's perspective is perfect for viewing and reviewing these Federer moments. What's harder to appreciate on TV is that these spectacular-looking angles and winners are not coming from nowhere. They're often set up several shots ahead and depend as much on Federer's manipulation of opponents' positions as they do on the pace or placement of the coup de grace. And understanding how and why Federer is able to move other world-class athletes around this way requires, in turn, a better technical understanding of the modern power baseline game than TV, again, is set up to provide. The metaphysical explanation is that Roger Federer is one of those rare, preternatural athletes who appear to be exempt, at least in part, from certain physical laws. Good analogues here include Michael Jordan, who could not only jump inhumanly high, but actually hang there, a beat or two longer than gravity allows, and Muhammad Ali, who really could float across the canvas and land 2 or 3 jabs in the clock time required for one. There are probably a half-dozen other examples since 1960, and Federer is of this type, a type that one could call genius, or mutant, or avatar. He is never hurried or off balance. The approaching ball hangs for him a split second longer than it ought to. His movements are lithe rather than athletic. Like Ali, Jordan, Maradona, and Gretzky, he seems both less and more substantial than the men he faces. particularly in the all-white that Wimbledon enjoys getting away with still requiring, he looks like what he may well, I think, be. A creature whose body is both flesh and somehow light.